Welcome everyone, Janice here. Hope you're all doing well. So today I wanted to do just a small little coaster, and I want to it's more about how to get reflections in the water, but I'm also going to just add a little bit of sea foam. So I've got some alcohol inks, just ordinary standard dishwashing liquid, some water, and I've got a little bit of pre-mixed one that I used on another project. So I'm just going to use that. And I've got some pre-mixed resin that's been standing for a while. So hopefully the bubbles will have all risen to the surface. You're also going to need your UV light. So I'm just going to keep this very simple. I'm just going to use some stones instead of beach sand and shells and everything. And I'm going to add just a few drops of alcohol ink into my pre-mixed resin. It's a 1-to-1 resin, and I've mixed I mixed 40 grams. This green wasn't the greatest color, to be honest with you, but yeah, I was a bit disappointed in the color, but it's fine. It's not about that. It's about doing the sea foam and the reflections. And then I just took another alcohol ink. It's also a green, and I just added it into that, just to give a variation of color. Mix it well, and then just add it to your coaster. And then I'm just using my torch to remove any of the little bubbles that have come to the surface. And then I'm just placing those stones in instead of the sand and the seashells and all of that. I just want to put a little bit of sea foam in amongst the stones, and then cover and leave overnight to cure. So this is the next day. Everything's cured. And what I need now is my UV resin, and I need some white pigment paste. So now it's a small coaster, so I'm not going to need a lot. So obviously, depending on the project you're doing, you would use more or less. And then I'm just literally putting a drop of the white pigment paste, and I'm mixing that into the UV resin. So I'm taking the dishwashing liquid and water mixture, and I'm going to use just my just my stick to make the bubbles. I don't use a straw because the straw makes really big bubbles, and this is more the size of the bubbles I want. And you'll get that with just using a stick. And then place your bubbles over your UV resin, and you can put under your UV light for approximately a minute. And then just use some paper towel and dab off any of the moisture. So that's the area that I want to do some basic water reflections. So this is standard resin. It's not UV resin. I've mixed about 25 grams. And I'm doing basically the same thing again. I'm just putting a very small amount of the white. Now, if you wanted your reflections to be darker and more pronounced, you'd put a little bit more white. I've left this very translucent, and you don't need to put a lot on. You just honestly need a very thin layer. I'm just spreading it around with my finger. And now I take my UV resin. You can use a stick, you can use whatever. I'm just doing this fairly quickly just to really show you. And you just do dots. And they start forming their own little pattern. And then I'm going to put under the UV light again for approximately a minute and a half. Right, this is it come out of the UV lamp. But now, because I used resin, I'm going to have to let it cure. And this is the end result. So I've just put it on a black background so it stands out. And it is, it's, I like the effect. And also, if you've got a darker background on the back, it's obviously going to be more pronounced. Thank you for watching, and I hope that's inspired you. And until the next one.